Broke Ride Media.
You're now listening to The Straight Shooter Show with your host, The Straight Shooter.
All right. Welcome to The Straight Shooter Show. Appreciate you taking the time out of your day to spend with us. So this week, I had this video. Well, I had seen a video. I watched this video. I drink coffee in the morning before I get ready for work, and I watch a little TikTok, check my notifications and stuff. And I see this video, and it's one of those that have, the guy and the girl conversation and the computer talking, the computer type voice, is doing the talking. And so it was conversations between me and baby daddy. And the girl said, what time are you coming to get the kids? And the baby daddy said, well, it's not even 2:00. You're trying to get rid of your kids already. And she's like, well, it's your weekend. And he says, yeah, you just want to go out and be a hoe. And she's like, and he said, that's why you got your hair done, right? To be a hoe. And anyways, you get the general idea. So I start reading the comments because, it had a few million views and there was 5,000 comments. And woman after woman is like, well, we must have the same baby daddy. And why are men like this? Why are men so bitter afterwards, after the breakup? And I thought, well, I've got an answer for this. I know because, I've been the guy. I didn't want her anymore, but I was still bitter because of how things fell out. And I know a lot of men, so I know how they feel. I know what goes through their minds. I hear it, they talk to me. And so I thought, well, I'll just make a video to give an answer on this. And, the fact of the matter is, and if you go to my TikTok and watch my video, countless men, one after another, are like, spot on, dude, 100%. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. Now, women, in that, some of them, they were like, yes, agree with what you're saying. But there were several women that were like, this is wrong. This is not true. It is true because countless men just said it's true. They say, whether it's true that that's a fact, I don't know from relationship to relationship, but I can tell you how men feel regardless of whether it's valid. I don't know if it's valid or not for each relationship. So my video, basically, I was just saying that, in most cases, these guys that are so bitter and make these hateful comments to their ex, which I don't advocate. I don't do that with any of my exes, never have, because when it's over, it's over. I'm not going to argue with them. But the point is, the reason that they act this way is because they feel like throughout that relationship, they did everything they were supposed to do. They feel like they went to work, they provided, maybe they were asking their spouse or their girlfriend, what do I need to do to change? What do I need to, do to make you happier? And they didn't feel like they were getting any answers. And in the video, I said, for whatever reason, there was a breakdown in that relationship, because I don't know what the reason is in relationship to relationship, but there's obviously a breakdown in the relationship prior to the divorce or the separation. So for whatever reason, whether it's his fault, her fault, I don't care. There was a breakdown in the relationship that led to a divorce. Now, this guy is still feeling like, I did everything I was supposed to. I did everything, she wanted me to do. I provided. There was a lot of stuff I did I didn't want to do. I put up with a lot of shit for her, and now it's over. True or not, I'm not saying. I'm just saying this is how the man feels, okay? So now they've got kids together, young kids, and she's like, hey, come get these kids because I'm going out to party. I'm going to the club with my girlfriends. And he still has feelings for her. He still cares for her. And he is like, I see you going out with these other guys, and you're having sex with these other guys and you are showing attention to these other guys, how come you weren't giving me the attention and the sex and all that stuff when you were with me? And I was the one going to work and bringing home the bacon and trying to do everything I could for you. Now, all of a sudden, we're divorced and you're going out and giving what I wanted, all the bullshit that I put up with from you. And now you're just giving it to random guys that have done nothing for you. That's how they feel. I'm telling you, that's how a majority of them feel. And I'm not saying if it's valid or it's not. I'm just telling you how the man feels. So the women that wanted an explanation on that, I offered one, and apparently upset and offended some women for saying it. Not saying it was your situation, just saying that that's how men feel. So that's what I got.
Yeah, well, I mean, so there's a lot of bitter baby mamas out there too. In fact, it's very prevalent.
Yeah.
It's very prevalent. Like, whereas where the man breaks up and the woman still wants to be with him, and then the man gets, and then she keeps the kid away. I see this a lot where the woman will keep the kid away from the man because she still wants to be with the man, hates his current wife or girlfriend, whatever it is, and she will make the man's life a living hell.
Yes.
I'm not saying it's okay. I think the guy that you're talking about acted like a dickhead.
He was.
Bottom line.
He was.
I don't think it's okay. What he says is okay. And I get what you're saying. You're offering an explanation of why he might be acting like that, but it's not okay. That guy's a dick at the end of the day.
And I never made an excuse for him.
For his actions.
For him to call her.
You're just offering an explanation.
For him to call her a bitch and tell her that he hopes that she dies from alcohol poisoning and the things that now, we don't know that he even said these things. She wasn't showing an actual text conversation. She was typing out herself, this is how the conversation goes. So this is her version of how the conversation goes.
So there's two sides to the story.
And maybe she's 100% accurate.
Maybe,
Or maybe she's 50%. Who knows?
Well,
but if it's exactly the way she said, then yes, he was being a dick and you ought not. Okay, she asked you a question. What time are you coming to get the kids? The answer is whatever time you're coming to get the kids. No questions. No. What are you planning on doing? It's none of your business.
It's none of your business. You should go pick up the kids. And this is why the courts come up with specific times to pick up the kids on the days. Because then I was like, okay, so every Friday that it's your weekend, 6:00, pick up the kids. That way there's no question. Or if she wanted to, what if she's like, hey man, I've got some plans tonight. Need you to come pick up the kid at 2:00. Or whatever.
Right.
And then him say, well, what are you going to do? You're going to be a hoe? I would be like, yes or no, can you come pick up the kids? Because what I do is none of your business. I could go hang out with the football team for all you care and have sex with every single one of them. And that's none of your business. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so I get it. I get he's bitter. He's a bitter baby daddy, but being a bitter baby mama is probably a little more prevalent. You know what I mean? Because women can make, especially here in Oklahoma, women can make men's lives a living hell if they have babies and they're separated.
Yeah. Or if the guy hasn't paid his child support.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I think the concept of what the guy said was wrong, no matter what.
Yes.
If that makes sense. Like, I don't think it ever should have got there. So.
Yes. And if a woman wants to do a video giving explanation why women are bitter after a breakup, she ought to do that.
Let me ask you a question. Is there a reason why you got so heated? Did something happen to you that was similar to like that? And you felt, is that why you were able to relate to the guy?
I think it's any time that you, maybe not necessarily exactly, the same as that guy, but I think any time that you come out of a relationship and you believe and you feel like, look, I've been a giver. I mean, I've been a giver. I've raised a bunch of kids. I've supported my first two wives never worked, never had jobs. So I was the sole provider. And, I just feel like I gave an awful lot and I mean, I voluntarily did, but there was a lot of stuff there, know? And I did what I was supposed to do. I was a responsible husband and father, and I did what I was supposed to do, and didn't feel like I got the respect or the, attention.
The things that you wanted in return, yeah.
Yeah. And, it didn't matter if I beat my head against the wall and would try to have civil, I never argued with any of my wives. No, never screaming, fighting matches. I was always very calm. And what can we do? I've tried this, this, and this. I would lay it out. What can we do? And with no changes until I ultimately, left. Well, one of them in particular, not my most recent one,
because she listens to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one of the first two, after the divorce, I was going weeks without intimacy. And I was working 60 hours a week, taking care of kids, cleaning the house, cutting the grass. I was, we're going 22 hours a day. And I'm like, I just want a little affection. And I was, and after a year and a half or so of that, 2 years, I just said, I can't. I'm not going to live the rest of my life this way. At any rate.
That way, dude, like me and my wife talked about this yesterday, and I feel like it works really well for us. But like we have sex every other day.
Yeah.
And okay, people are probably getting grossed out. I feel weird even saying that, but I feel like in podcasting, you have to be able to get personal if you want people to learn from your own relationships and stuff. So
Right.
I'm going to get personal real quick. Me and my wife have a set schedule. We have sex every other day, no matter what. And if one of us wants to have sex in between there and we want to make it every other day for the 3 days or whatever, then that's fine. But no matter what, every other day. And we just had this conversation yesterday to where I've been stressed out this week. I've had a lot going on with the podcast, a lot in my other business that I have. I've had a lot going on this week, right? Mm. And when I get real stressed out, I'm not exactly the most sexual person in the world, but I still do it. And we had sex and my wife could tell that I was kind of off a little bit. And she goes, hey, I know you better than I know anybody. I know you're stressed out. If you're stressed out, just tell me before we have sex. And then it's not a big deal. We won't do it. And I said, no, because then that starts a precedence. It gives an excuse. If you have one excuse, you have another. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We need to stay on this because that way we can be sexually active and keep each other sexually pleased. Because I guarantee there's been times that you didn't want to have sex and we did anyway. Right. You see what I'm saying? So we set up this routine to where we have sex every other day, no matter, there's no headache excuse, there's no stressed out excuse, because if you make one, you'll make another.
Right.
Do you agree with, do you think that's a good plan?
No, I do. I think it is.
Yeah, and that way, everybody's happy. Everybody's getting sex. I guarantee there's some times that I don't want to have sex, but I do, and I guarantee there's been times that she didn't want to have sex, but we did anyway.
Right.
And it's working great for us, so.
I do things, when I'm with someone, I do things all the time that I'm not in the mood to do, but I do it, and I don't know why there's such a premium. I mean, there is a premium on sex because it's so important to a relationship, but why is it that even women will say, there's things they'll do that they don't really want to do, but they do it. But when it comes to sex, a majority of women are like, I don't want to, and I'm not gonna. It's, not gonna.
Yeah.
And they hold the key. If they're married, it's not like you can go get that somewhere else. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Me and my wife had this discussion in the beginning before we ever got married. And I said, because I see that a lot, almost in all marriages on my friends and stuff like that, where the woman does hold the key to the sex, right?
Yeah.
And you have to do stuff to get that. You have to be a good puppy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To get sex. And I'm sorry, if that guy cheats, you earned that. That girl earned that.
No, I disagree with that thought process.
I don't.
I do, because I didn't cheat. I dealt with it and I left.
Yeah.
And then I got with somebody else. So I don't think that.
I think the guy
if
should
a guy
leave
leaves,
first. Yes, I think that.
I don't think that a girl deserves to be cheated on.
No.
Even if she does have that mentality, she deserves to be left.
Yeah. Cheating is immoral. I want to make that clear. And I would never cheat no matter how bad my relationship got. And I'm not condoning cheating by any means. But I'm telling you, man, like if that girl, like I know guys that haven't had sex in almost a year. And if he cheats, I get it. You see what I'm saying? Like that guy, if a girl comes along and it's like starts calling him hot and starts showing interest in him, and you haven't done it in a year, of freaking course he's gonna cheat. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You earned that. I still don't think it's the girl's fault that he was immoral, but she earned it. She earned that. You know. Well, you've got to keep your man happy. He should have
left her though.
Yeah.
He should have just left her.
But the point to where you're at, to where you don't even want to have sex with your man, like you probably shouldn't have ever been with that guy in the first place. You see what I'm saying? It goes back to what we were talking about last week, where you guys weren't a good match and you guys forced a square peg in a wrong hole. Yeah. And if you're disgusted by having sex with your man, probably was never a right relationship in the beginning.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, to go back, whenever I was talking about my personal experience, what was so hard for me was that, I mean, I was a simp. I was like, I'm doing everything that I'm being a good puppy, and I'm still not getting it. So
that's your personality, though. I bet you're still that way today. Like you're a giver.
No,
you're a giver.
Not when it comes to that.
Yeah,
I will not. Will not beg or perform any tasks to get that. Yeah. If it's not given freely, I don't want it.
It's a boundary now.
Yeah. I'm not. You better want it as much as me.
No, what I mean, you seem like a giver, not necessarily like you're.
I am a giver,
but like you seem like you're in a relationship, even with your friends and everything, that you're going to give. You know what I mean? Unless somebody crosses a boundary.
That's true.
I'm the same way.
But not when it comes to sex.
I'm the same way. Yeah, but you've learned, and you don't like that feeling you get whenever you feel like you have to be a puppy to get it. I don't either. I'm the same way.
All right, so I'm going to finish this finally. So after that relationship was over, and I saw her with this guy and this guy and this guy, and this guy spending the night, and I'm like, I can't wrap my brain around this. This guy, and this guy has done nothing for her. Nothing. They did not put up with any of the BS, and they're spending the night. I didn't want her anymore, but I was bitter because I didn't want to get divorced. Who does? Who wants to get divorced?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I was so bitter because it was like, you forced me to divorce you.
Yeah.
And now what I wanted, you're giving to these guys who offer you nothing. Why didn't you just give it to the man that was taking care? So it was a very touchy subject.
Personal for you, yeah.
And even my parents called me yesterday morning, and they were like, we were on TikTok this morning. We saw your video. I was like, yeah. I was like, I know I'm going to get some kickback from it. And they're like, yeah, you are. And it was clear to us that you were speaking from.
I knew it was personal for you because you normally don't get that wound up about stuff. You normally don't get that wound up about. So I knew it was a little personal for you, but basically the message you're trying to portray is there's two sides to every story. The TikTok you saw, everybody was bashing on that guy.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And you wanted to say, hey, there's two sides to every story. I've been the second guy in the relationship. That girl that's probably airing his dirty laundry probably treated that guy like shit and for a very long time.
She might have. I'm not going to make any assumptions how that relationship went.
She may have.
He could have been a total dick.
Yeah.
She could have been. She could have been
He's
horrible.
being a total dick now, but he may have a reason is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay.
All right, let's get on to the emails. I hope Jason cleared that up for everybody, and hopefully he doesn't get a ton of hate. If he does, I had nothing to do with this. No, I'm kidding.
I'll take it because I stand for, what I said, Zach.
Yeah, I believe in what I say too, And since you guys don't know what I look like, I am 6'4", 250 of pure muscle, so don't mess with me. All right, on to the emails. Oh, wait, before we go to the emails, we had update on Zach M. An update on Zach M. Because Zach M was supposed to join the show today, right? But what's going on?
So he called me last night, and he was supposed to already be in his own truck. This is Zach M from episode 4 update. Anyways, he was supposed to be in his own truck by now, and something happened with his trainer where he didn't get in his own truck. I don't really want to go into too much detail about why. He didn't do anything wrong at all. It's just something sketchy going on, but he's got to make a few more runs with his trainer now. He's a little discouraged, but I told him to keep his head up and stay positive. And another week or two, and he'll be out of that truck and on his own. So I think the talk might have helped him a little bit. He seemed upbeat by the time we got off the phone, I felt like, but he's not going to be able to call in this morning because he is driving and he cannot talk freely with his trainer. So I told him it's no big deal. Do what you got to do. And I would let everybody know that he's doing well. And so it's not going to probably be even episode 9. It's probably going to be episode 10 before we get Zach back on the phone. But he's still real appreciative of all the support.
Yeah. He'll be on, and he's doing good. So that's all we can hope for. So.
Oh, he did also say that he got they enrolled him into a different, once he does get his own truck, a different program. He's going to be making better money than we thought also, and running up to New York out of Ohio, like a dedicated route. Everything he told me about it sounded real good, and he'll be able to sock a lot of money away. So it'll be good.
Hope he doesn't actually put the money in his sock though, right?
Right.
Okay. All right.
I will counsel him there.
All right. Onto the emails. Matt Mills is a big fan of the show. He emailed in today. We're going to read his real quick. He says, "Good morning, gentlemen. Matt, I would say that I'm more of a gentleman and Jason probably isn't. So, he said, "Good morning, gentlemen. I have a few more questions for you." He said, "How to handle family that's upset or how to deal with them when you move out of state." That's his first question. Go ahead and answer that.
How to deal with family that's upset.
How to handle family that's upset or how to deal with them when you move out of state. I think what he's asking here, I think I got it. I think what he's asking for is how to deal with family that's upset that you're moving out of state.
Oh. Well, I mean, I'm assuming that if you are moving out of state, Matt, that you're moving out of state to better yourself, or you've got your reasons why you need to move out of state. It's really none of their concern. I don't know why. If they're upset, then they're upset. I can't tell you anything to do to make them not upset, other than just express to them that this is what I got to do. This is what's best for me and my family, and this is what we're doing. I don't know. I'm still a little confused with, if it were me and I was having to move out of state and I had family that was upset with me, but I knew that this is what is going to be beneficial to my family, it would not faze me.
Yeah.
If family was upset. I'd be like, well, I'm sorry. And
I think it's okay that they're upset because it just shows they love him. They don't want him to leave, It's okay that they're upset. Now, hold on. It's how are they reacting to it, though? It's okay if they're like, man, like, this makes me real sad. This sucks. But if they're creating drama or something like that towards you, then that's not okay. But if they're upset and they're sad and they hate it that you're moving, but they understand it's best for you, then it's just they love you, man. They don't want to see you go,
If that's what he's saying, if I'm interpreting.
What if it's his parents? Let me put you in this position. Your son's almost 18. He's fixing to graduate. What if he came to you right now and said, "Dad, I'm moving to New York"? What would you do?
I would be sad, and he knows I would be sad.
You'd be sad bad.
Yeah, but
bad.
If that's what he needed to do for his future, then I wouldn't be upset. I'd be upset. I wouldn't be upset with him. I'd be upset.
Do you think at first you'd probably maybe even start creating some reasons of why it would be a bad idea, even if it wasn't, just to keep him around?
No. I would. I'm a pretty rational person, and if he believed that was the best move for him, I would analyze the circumstances, and if I felt like there was other things that maybe he hadn't considered, I would bring those things up to make sure he had considered them. And as long as he had, then whatever he needs to do. And then I'd just go see him as much as I possibly could.
Yeah.
What else? You can't. So, but if he is if he is saying that they are upset, how do you deal with them, because they're just sad? Then, I mean, you need to, let them know that you love them.
Yeah.
You're going to see them as much as you can.
I hate this as much as you do.
Yeah.
I hate this as much as you do.
It's just what it has to be.
I don't want to leave you, but this is what I have to do to leave,
Yeah.
But if they're creating a bunch of drama, you're the leader of your family. You're a man, Matt, and you've got to be a man and take the bull by the horns and understand. And your family comes first before your other family that used to be your immediate family, if that makes sense. You got to take the bull by the horns, take the reins, and be a leader, and make sure to shield your other family members from as much drama that your family might be creating as possible.
I agree.
So, all right. So his second question was, how to accept your choices, decisions in life, even when they upset others. I think Matt's something's going on with Matt with his family right now. He's having a hard time.
Again, I mean, I make my decisions, my choices for myself. And, if it upsets other people, then it does. If it's what's in my best interest, my family's best interest, I don't let other people's opinions of my choices affect me. So I would say don't spend a lot of time worried about if it does upset other people. All of us have to take care of ourselves and what is best for our family and for ourselves. So I wouldn't spend a lot of time addressing it. If it upsets other people, just say, I'm sorry that you don't like it. I'm sorry it bothers you, but this is what it is. End of story.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that, man. Like you can't live your life for other people because, dude, I'm telling you, man, like I used to live for other people, to make my decisions based on what others was going to be happy. And then I realized that it is impossible. There is no way you're ever going to be able to, someone that needs you to do something in order to make them happy, they're never going to be happy. Do your thing, and they're either going to be happy with the way you decide to do things or they're not. And if they're not, that's probably not a person you want in your life, even if it is your family. I have cut major family members out of my life because they were unreasonable people, and if you have to do things to make them happy, even if you do those things, it's going to eventually not work.
I agree.
So, all right, his question number 3 is how to break bad habits when the craving or urges come.
Okay, I got a couple things on something like that. Get you those fat rubber bands. Put you 1 or 2 of them around your wrist. Don't cut your circulation off, but do the old pop. If you're having the real major whatever it is that you're wanting to do, pop yourself to remind yourself. That's just going to hurt me. It's going to hurt me if I do that. If it's a bad habit, if the habit is costing you money, which I'm sure it is, that you need to determine how much money that's costing you per day. And let's say it's $10. Open up a savings account or another checking account that you can link to your primary account. And every day when you wake up, you move that $10 out of that account into the other account. And then let's say that your habit is cigarettes and you're like, well, I want to go buy cigarettes. Well, you can't. You already spent your $10. It's in that other account. It's gone. You spent it. It's over. You can't access that money, and you can't afford it because you got to have your other money for your bills. So that money's gone. And then after a month, you've got $300. You've got almost $4,000 at the end of a year if you're spending $10 on that habit by putting that money in savings. Well, what can you do with $4,000? I mean, you go on a pretty decent little vacation on $4,000. So I would say move that $10, $5, $20, whatever it is you're spending on your habit, move that into a separate account every morning. Already spend that money.
Yeah, for me, I don't really. I've quit a lot of bad habits in my life, but I don't know how I did it. What I can tell you is I know I quit drinking and smoking, and January 4th was 2 years for me that I haven't smoked or drank, by the way.
Good deal.
But I couldn't tell you what I did to get sober and to stop smoking, but I can tell you that I wanted to be sober and I wanted to stop smoking for a really long time before I did, a couple years, because I was younger and I drank and nothing was wrong with it. I smoked, nothing was wrong with it. And then you start getting closer to your 30s and you go, oh man, this is going to catch up with me someday. And then it starts to catch up with you and you go, oh, like I cannot live like this forever. I'm going to have a shorter life. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And that was going like it. I started to realize that what I was doing, your bad habits, is going to shorten your life. You're going to live a shorter life than what you would if you weren't. And also, it wasn't fulfilling me.
Right.
You know, like it wasn't fulfilling me anymore. It used to be fun, but then it came to where I was drinking in my garage by myself and stuff. And I was like, this is sad. This is not what an adult with a family should be doing, you know? And so all that motivated me to quit. I wanted to be a better leader for my family because I wanted them to get better. But I can't tell you, like, I remember January 4th, and it was the same day as ever. I would wake up and tell myself I wasn't going to drink that night. But I always did. I always went and got beer at the end of the day, and I always went and drank. And I don't know why I didn't that day, and I don't know why I haven't for the next 2 years, but I just haven't.
I want to say one more thing on it, too, that I have quit smoking several times in my life. So each time that I quit, you know, I was quit, and then I would fall off the wagon, and then I'd, you know, quit again. And I say several. It's been like 5 or 6 times in my life, but I've been smoking. You know, I mean, I started smoking when I was like 12, 13 years old. And so there was a lot of years there for me to quit and then pick it back up. The point that I'm making is if you do fall off the wagon on whatever it is, don't just give up and say, okay, well, you know, here I've fallen off the wagon. I guess I'm doing this, whatever it is again. Even if it takes you a week or a month, you know, to get yourself back, you know, up where you're not doing it again, just don't give up. Because sometimes people do, they fall off. And I don't want you to say, well, that's it. I'm not strong enough. I can't do it. You just keep it in your mind. Okay, yes, I've given into this temptation, but I'm not going to stay here. And then you start working on your mind over matter again to get yourself back to the point of quitting whatever it is again. So
I used to have bad dreams that I had drank, like I'd be 6 months in or whatever, and I haven't not had 6 months sober since I was like a kid. You know, I started drinking when I was 14. I had a pretty bad childhood, dude. We'll get into that some other day, but and when I had 6 months in, that's the longest I had since I was a kid, man, sober. And I was like, I would have dreams that I drank and smoked, and then I ruined that 6 months, and it was a nightmare of mine.
Yeah.
And then I figured over time it would get easier, and it does get easier. But I realized here recently that walking through the Walmart liquor aisle or whatever and seeing liquor and beer and stuff up on the aisle, I realized that, this isn't ever going to go away. Like I'm always going to, like I loved alcohol. I loved it. And you know, you got to be able to be honest with yourself. Whatever your bad habit is, you probably like it. Don't try to learn how to hate it. Be honest with yourself. I love it. It's just bad. And that's why when I walk through the aisle, I'm like, man, I sure do miss that, but I can't do it because if I did it once, I'd do it again. And then I'd go down this road of years of trying to quit again. And so you just got to reason with yourself and use honesty. Yeah. And that'll get you through there. So, all right, Matt, thanks for the email as always. All right. So this next email is Isaac. You remember Isaac from last episode?
Yeah.
Yeah. You talked to him on the phone. Okay. He sent an email and he wanted to show you this. He said, "Hello, straight shooter. I took your advice concerning my middle son's mother. She ended up calling me again, and I accepted the call as you suggested. We spoke. She was very nice and respectful again. She even complimented me again about our son. I agreed to let her visit. I went to where she was this time and spoke to her about visitation arrangement. She and I agreed to allow me to bring him to her to visit while I am present once a month, and she can visit him in my home with a 24-hour notice. Thank you, straight shooter. Your advice did work, and I am a firm believer in kids knowing their parents, if at all possible. I won't talk about her, and I'll continue to work with her according to the situation we're in. There's always hope."
That's awesome.
Isaac. That's great, man. That's great, Isaac. Good job. Good job taking that advice and taking the bull by the horns and getting into it and seeing some positive results. And don't be afraid to email us later on and tell us even more about what's going on.
Yeah, and your son is going to be, as he grows up, he's going to realize that you did that, and he's going to be so grateful.
Yeah, yeah. And even if you can't make her be a good person, but at least you won't be the bad person in the situation. You know, you'll be a diamond in the rough in all this situation. Like there'll be a silver lining even if she's not active. But it looks like at least to me from this email that by him taking action and showing that taking the leadership and showing her that she can be a part, that it worked at least for now.
Right.
So
right.
that'd be really cool. That'd be really cool if she did.
Yeah. And it'll make me, I mean, if we get another update in 6 months, in a year, in 10 years from, I would love, 10 years from now to know that that kid has a relationship with his mom as a result of, advice that he took from this show, that would be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
And him taking action on, doing that.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, message us back, Isaac, in a month and let us know how it's going. And even if you want to call in or send us a video message or anything like that, all y'all can send us video messages. We'll put the video message on the green screen and we'll make it happen. So we appreciate all the interaction this week. We love it. We love you guys. Okay, on to the next email. This is from, dang it. We were doing good on the anonymous, man. We have an anonymous.
All right.
There's not a whole lot of anonymous going on this week. There's just a little bit anonymous going on this week.
We can live with a little.
All right. He said, I would like to stay anonymous if possible. Sure, you can. I have a question and I don't really know what to do. My mom stepped out of my life about 8 years ago and got into drugs and kind of fell apart and didn't talk to me for the last 6 years. Here recently, she has contacted my grandmother, her mom, and she is still letting her stay at her house and helping her get all her stuff together. I don't know if I should try and build my relationship back with her now or wait till she is completely better and has her stuff figured out. What is your thoughts on the situation and would like for this to be on the podcast if possible? Keep up the good work with the podcast. Love them and a lot to look forward to every week. So. I have a lot to say on this one.
He doesn't say how old he is. No?
No, but I would assume he's a grown-up because she stepped out of his life 8 years ago. So I would assume he's at least in his teens,
Well, yeah. But I mean, he could be 15.
Yeah.
I mean, he could be 14. He could be 13.
Yeah. I can tell you this, man. My mom, when I was 13 years old, left. And I remember sitting up in a room. We had a 2-story house, and I was looking out the window. And my dad and my mom were in another huge fight. And I looked out the window. My mom was taken off in her Jeep, and she stopped, and she saw me looking out the window. And she looked up, and she was bawling. And she was crying, and she waved goodbye to me. And I didn't see my mom for 3 years. And the next time I saw her, when I was 16, was I visited her in the largest women's prison facility in the state of Texas. Ever since then, my mom has been on and off drugs. I mean, my mom has been on and off drugs my whole life. You see what I'm saying? My mom doesn't align with the same morals that I do still to this day. And we don't have the same thought process. I'm probably the person I am because I watched my mom bounce in and out of drugs.
Right.
Here's what I can tell you. Is if you're basing whether you love your mom or your relationship on whether she's sober or not, she's probably going to disappoint you, maybe. But she may not. She may get sober. I think you should find a way to love your mom no matter what, if that makes sense. But if she's in and out of drugs, doesn't mean you have to go tell her about your day and your problems and stuff like that. She's your mom. I think you should love her. But I think you should hold the power on how deep that relationship is. I don't think you should cut your mom completely out of your life, but you do hold the power on how much she is in your life, and you can control that. And that's what I do with my mom, is I control how in I am, if that makes sense. What do you think about that? Maybe you have some advice for me and him on this situation.
Largely what you just said. I've got friends who their ex-wives ended up getting on drugs. Well, they were their current wives at the time get on drugs and end up leaving the marriage, leaving the kids, and try to come, they be gone for a few years and then they want to, come back and be in the kids' lives. Now these kids, are like in their mid-teens, 14 to 18 years old, a couple of different situations I can think of. And what those kids have done, and what you said, they are guarded with, because they don't know if they can trust their mom to A, stick around, B, is she going to want something from them? Is she going to try to use them for something? But they still, of course, they love their mom. It's their mom. And I mean, you love your mom, even if she makes mistakes. The question that he's asking is, should he wait until she really gets all her shit together, or should he go ahead and try to start bonding with her now? I would say, is she trying to bond with you right now? Because I would follow her lead initially. I would not initiate. If she's not coming and saying, trying to call you or trying to bond in some way with you, I'm not sure that I would initiate it. But once she does, if she does, or if she is now, yeah, I wouldn't wait. I would go ahead and accept that she's trying to come back into your life. But again, I would be guarded to a degree to make sure that she is continuing her path of rehabilitation, of getting herself clean. And
because she may not stay that way.
Yeah, I would make it clear also that without being a jerk, even though she left for 8 years, which was a pretty jerk move, but without being a jerk, I'd make it clear that, you want to have that relationship with her, but if she starts using again, it will sever that relationship until she's clean again. So she knows that she has something at risk, beyond losing her sobriety. And then, be guarded as far as making sure that she's not attempting to use you for financial reasons or anything like that.
One of my stepdaughters recently told her dad has been in and out of drugs, and she straight up to his face walked up to him and said, "You are my dad. I love you. You've been," and she's grown now, grown woman.
Right.
Said, "I love, I do love you. You've been on and off drugs my whole life. You have one more chance with me. If you do drugs, if you do one more drug when you get out," because he's still in prison, "if you do one more drug, I'm done forever. I will never speak to you again." And she means it.
Yeah.
She means it. Now, like I said, there were so many times I watched my mom get excited, find God, go to church, come back from church, go get her bag of drugs, and bring me and my sister into the bathroom, and we would watch her flush her drugs down the toilet, and we'd be so pumped. We'd be so excited. Whoa, because we liked that version of our mom. We liked the sober version of our mom.
Right.
The not sober version of my mom wasn't so fun to be around. She was terrible. And and then when she would do that, we get so excited. But then 100 times she'd go back, and then we would get excited again. And then you learn over time, now 35 years of seeing this, you learn over time that this woman's probably never going to get better completely. And so you have to temper your expectations, I think, in this situation. Now, if this is her first time getting clean, I think you should be optimistic, but also realizing, you can look up stats on this. Most people that get clean the first time, it doesn't work the first time, But
she could be that one.
I do hope she is. I do hope that for you. But I think you should guard yourself at a distance and don't get too excited about it. And then just hope the best for her. Be there for her if you can. Help her in any way you can. But also understand that if she doesn't, you've got a life that you've got to build without her. So,
well, and to him having that, if she's reaching out to try to have that relationship with him, him accepting that relationship with her and trying to build that bond, I mean, that could be beneficial to her staying clean.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Help her if you can. Be there for her if you can. If it doesn't interfere with your life negatively, be there for her if you can, but realize that you do have a life that you've got to build with or without her, so. Yeah. And I hope your dad's in your life, but it's just a tough situation. So basically what you tell him is he needs to go up to her and set some boundaries right now. Is that what you're telling him?
If she is reaching out to him. Yes. If she's not, I would wait.
Yeah.
I would wait.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. If she hasn't reached out to you wanting to do it, then you don't reach out to her.
Mm-mm.
No.
No, not if she left for 8 years.
No, heck no. You go on doing your thing.
Yeah.
You're important I want to let you know this. You're important with or without her. You're a good guy and you're going to do great things.
This is really the reverse, with him being the son, her being the mom. But, the story of the prodigal son from the Bible.
Remind me.
He he had 2 sons, and one of the sons it's in Luke 20 maybe.
Is that where he gave both of the sons the same inheritance?
Well, the one son, he wanted his inheritance now. I want it now. And the other one stayed there to work, with the dad and build the farm and build, So the one son that got all his inheritance, he went off and bought a bunch of prostitutes and drank and partied it up. Yeah, he spent it all up. And then there was a famine, and he was starving. He was starving. He couldn't get food anywhere, not even out of the dumpster. He couldn't get fed. And he thought, my father has many servants, and I'm sure that his servants, are at least getting table scraps. Let me go back to my father and beg to be a servant. But when the father saw the son returning, he saw him from a distance, and he was overjoyed. His son had returned. For once he was lost, but now he is found, and he ordered that one of the cows be slaughtered, and we're pouring wine. Go get the best clothing, the best shoes for my son. My son has come back to me, and it really upset the other son that had stayed there. He's like, "Why would you treat him so well when I've been here all this time with you?" And he said, because he was lost, and now I have him back. So I can see how this young man is like, I didn't have my mom for 8 years. I want her back.
Yeah.
I want my mom back.
Of course.
So, I mean, how would you feel if it was one of your kids that was gone for 8 years and then you saw them return,
Yeah.
Or your mom, if she's got clean and after 8 years, you're going to want her back.
Yes.
But, the son was coming in the prodigal son, was coming back to his father to beg, please let me be part of, this again. And so.
Yeah, but the prodigal son realized what he had done wrong.
Exactly.
Right? And came back and did what he had to do to be the correct person, right? Now, the prodigal son had some good qualities about him. Now, he did make a huge mistake, and he had some bad qualities, but the prodigal son had some good qualities that made the returning more successful.
Right.
The mom might not have those qualities. Got to make sure.
She may not.
You have, what I'm saying is that kid needs to be guarded because I don't want to see him go through the same pain I did.
I hear you. I'm only making the comparison.
Yeah.
I can see I can see how somebody would be so emotional.
Yes.
My mom's back after 8 years.
Yeah.
Should I?
Yes.
I want her in my life.
Yeah.
But he knows he needs to be careful. That's why he's asking the question.
Yeah.
What is your suggestion? And I feel like what we've given him in this back and forth is some stuff to think about. Maybe he's already thought about all this stuff, but maybe one thing
I've been through it.
Said
I've been through
he
it.
Hadn't have.
Yeah, I've been through it. That's why it's so close and personal to me. I just don't want to see him get hurt. Like I had my whole life. I just don't want to see you get hurt, man. That's it. It's very close and personal to me. That's why I'm like, man, I don't want you to get hurt. But also to Jason's point is I mean, forgiveness is huge. I really think you should. I think you should be open to it, right?
Yeah. And I really, really, really please send us an update and put it in your calendar to send us an update in like 90 days.
So what's your overview?
Or 60.
Yeah. What's your overview on that? So do it, but be careful.
Yeah. If she's coming to him, don't initiate, be responsive. If she is initiating, be responsive, be fairly guarded initially, and, make sure, and be prepared. Be prepared that maybe she doesn't stay clean.
Yeah.
But be hopeful.
Let us know. Let us know how it goes, man. Thank you for the email. Okay, so We had a late minute cancellation on the phone calls. We're not having any phone calls today.
What?
So, yeah, just got a notification. We're not having any phone calls today. We only had one caller set up, and so this week we're not gonna have a phone caller. But we answered a lot of questions. It's fine. So, just please, if you do send an email and we do ask you to call and you do agree to call, understand that the show's probably riding on you to call. So. And I know it's hard. Listen, I get it. It's a hard thing to get on the phone. It's nerve-wracking, and to put yourself out there for Jason to answer your question. I get it. It's hard. It's really hard. I understand that. But Jason's done nothing but help people, and you don't have to be nervous to talk to him. He's not going to, I don't think there's anything that you could say that's going to surprise him. Wouldn't you say? Or shock him like you're going to?
I've seen an awful lot of stuff in my life.
I know. That's what makes you
through
so
an awful lot.
That's what makes you so good at this, And so, just we want more callers. That's what we need, more callers. And if you do decide to call, in, just please don't cancel last minute. Give me a day at least. So, but I get it. I do get why people cancel. It's nerve-wracking. It's scary. But just don't agree to it if you can't do it. So
yeah.
But anyway, no calls today. But we will have a call on the next episode. I believe Michelle's coming on next week. So, do you have any final closing thoughts, an overview of today's total episode?
Man, I was thinking of something earlier, and now that you put me on the spot, Zach.
Yeah, well, we started off with your message from about
TikTok.
the guy. Yeah.
The TikTok.
What's your general message about that for today?
There's two sides to every story. There's probably three sides. There's his, hers, and what actually happened.
Yep.
So, whenever I make a video or give a generalization of why I believe people do a certain thing, I'm not attacking anybody. I'm not saying that it's all women's fault or all men's fault for anything, because I don't believe ever that it's always a certain group's fault. That would be like me saying it's all the white man's fault or all the black man's fault or all the Mexicans' fault. I don't do that.
Yeah.
Individuals are different. So
everybody did something to get us here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, I'm going to offer explanations whenever I see it fitting to do that, especially when you've got hundreds or thousands of women asking a question and then you give them an answer.
Yeah. You can't ever make everybody happy, like we said. So
I know.
You got your teeth kicked in on that one, didn't you?
It's okay. I even had this one woman. She's like, "Oh, there's so much wrong here. Unfollow." And I made a video for her because I'm like, I'm just trying to educate you.
Ooh, girl, bye.
I mean, anytime I get that unfollow, comment, I mean, I've had several of them. I've made 2 videos in response to them. I don't know that I'll ever do that again. And it's not like I'm begging them to stay. It's just, to me, it's like, first of all, why are you telling me? Just go.
Yeah.
Go. I don't need to know you're leaving. It doesn't, if you don't want to stay here for me, for my magnificent, for all the great stuff that I put out, oh well.
They need you to know that you have lost an important part of yourself. That's what they need to know.
Well,
that's what they need you to know.
But see, I don't see it that way. When they tell me that, I think you are screwing yourself. No. I say you are cheating yourself. You're cheating yourself by unfollowing me, because maybe even if you disagree with me wholeheartedly on one thing that I say, you apparently liked me or agreed with something I said, made you hit the follow button at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So now I say one thing that you don't agree with and you're going to unfollow me. Well, what if the next 1,000 things I say, you're in 100% agreement with me, or you would have learned something from the next 5 things I say? Well, now you're not.
I get what you're saying there. Like, the relationship that you have between you and that follower anyway, because I'm not saying you don't value every single one of your followers, because I know you do. I know you do, but the relationship between you and that specific follower anyway wasn't strong anyway, because we should be able to get, me and you have disagreed on this show several times, and I don't tell you not to come back and record the show every week, you know?
Right.
We're still friends when we walk out of here, you know? We don't even talk about our disagreements when we leave here. We just talk about the good stuff. We disagree sometimes. That's okay.
That's right.
It's okay to disagree. We're different, you know?
And you know what's good about disagreement? When you can talk about the disagreement is if people with open minds, they learn. That's how I learn a lot of things, is I talk to people that I don't necessarily agree with. And maybe from that conversation, I still don't agree with 98% of what they say.
Yeah.
But I might pick up 2%. And I'm like,
yeah,
you know, I hadn't thought of it that way.
Well, you may just learn about somebody else's thought process too.
Yeah.
So everybody has different thought processes. There are situations where neither person's wrong.
Oh, for sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what's 3 + 3 is 6. What's 2 + 4? They're both right.
Don't ask me these tough questions.
They're both 6. It's just how you get there, man.
I don't have my calculator, man. Stop asking me this stuff. All right. Well, let's wrap it up.
Okay. Well, I guess since we don't have a caller today, that's going to wrap it up for the day. I really do appreciate the emails that we did get, the interaction. Don't forget to leave a comment on the video on YouTube or on the audio only. If you haven't given me a rating, I'd appreciate it. If you give me a 5-star rating, that'd be great. And look forward to sitting down here to talk to you again next week. And I know that you may not always agree with everything that I say, but always going to shoot you straight.
You have been listening to The Straight Shooter Show. Come back every Wednesday for new episodes.